This week we are talking about feet yet again. Why? Because feet are very important on Camino. They get you from the start to the finish. And this week I want to talk about airing your feet, coming right up. So we talked about feet a lot on this channel. So if you have a look around the channel, you'll find videos on footwear and how to avoid blisters and all that good stuff. But one thing I haven't mentioned, which it's kind of part of my regime of looking after my feet, is airing my feet. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't see a lot of people necessarily doing this. So I think it might be a useful tip because my feet have always been in pretty good condition and I've never had any blisters. You know, I have sort of tendon issues and things like that, but not sort of skin related issues like blisters. So what I'm talking about with airing your feet is basically letting fresh air get to them and let them dry out through the day. So the causes of blisters are a combination of heat, friction, moisture, and getting that sort of sticky mess going inside your footwear. And so it makes sense to me to keep all of that as dry as possible. And one of the reasons why I like Gore-Tex footwear, but we won't digress. So how do I get around that? So I have pretty much a regime through the day where at least once I will stop, take off my footwear, take off my socks, put my feet up on my pack. Maybe we've got a little bit of some images or some old footage here. I think you've got an image of Pat laying back with her feet up on the pack. And it's to raise the feet a little bit, let the sort of inflammation come out of the feet, but also just to let the air at the feet, let them dry out, hang up your socks, let them dry out. I'm not doing this at a cafe. I'm generally doing it, at the side of a path on a bit of grass or maybe a sort of picnic area or something like that. Just putting my feet up for 10 minutes. And very often what I'll do then is I'll reapply Vaseline, hiker's wool, reapply any sort of tape that I might be using. And at the end of this, I'll put a link to the video where we talk about avoiding blisters, and it shows you how to do all of that stuff. So kind of redress your feet with whatever your regime is there, Vaseline, all that kind of stuff. Then I'll very often put on a clean pair of socks, and I wear inners and outers. And then I'll hang the socks that I've just taken off on the back of my pack so that they can dry out as long as it's reasonable weather. And just that 10-15 minutes airing, reapplying the Vaseline, the hiker's wool, fresh dry socks, your feet just feel wonderful. And if you do that halfway through the day, it really gives you a spring in your step. And on a longer day, which for me might be 25 Ks, but let's say I'm on the road for 8 hours or so, I might actually do that twice because it's just wonderful to have that refreshing sort of feeling on your feet. You don't want them, encased and sort of strapped up in your footwear all day. Let them out, let them breathe, let the air get to them, and your feet will be far happier, I reckon. So what are your sort of regimes for looking after your feet when you're walking? Do you do that? Do you kind of get your feet into your footwear at the start of the day and they never see daylight until the end of the day? Maybe you've got some tips that you could share as well. I just thought I would share that one because it really does work for me and it makes my feet feel great. So thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.